Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to present today. At the outset, let me say that I won't be able to cover a number of themes within this very broad topic in such a short time span, but I will do my best to highlight what I consider some key research in Belize for more than 50 years of zooarchaeological analysis. Zooarchaeology is the study of animal remains recovered from archaeological sites to understand past human-animal interactions and their impact on the environment, diet, culture, and social dynamics. It focuses on analyzing animal remains, primarily bones, teeth, and shells, to identify species, determine the age, sex, and health of animals, and reconstruct their role in human societies from hunting and domestication to their use as raw materials. Key aspects of Maya zooarchaeology include fauna as food, that is, subsistence and diet of the Maya, reconstructing paleo environments, ritual uses of fauna, the use of animals in socio-political organization, differential access to animal resources by certain members of Maya society, bone and shell economies, and animal management, just to name a few. Social zooarchaeology examines the social and symbolic uses of animals, such as their use as food in creating and maintaining social bonds through mechanisms such as feasting. Here's just a quick slide to show some of the sites that I'll be mentioning today. These include several that I've had the privilege of conducting faunal analysis at, such as Kahopech, Pakbitun, Lamanai, Minanha, and Kakabish. Thought it was about time that maybe I present on the 35 years of research I've done in Belize. Up until the 1960s, animal remains were rarely discussed in Maya literature other than within the context of modified bones and shells found at sites in Belize. It was not common to retain non-modified faunal remains found during excavations. This is just a early publication from the Royal Ontario Museum on late classic finds at Baking Pot, showing some of the worked shell and bone, but no other discussions within this book on the use of animals. But some of the earliest publications to discuss non-modified animal remains are from the 1970s excavations by David Pendergast of the Royal Ontario Museum of cave sites in central Belize. Howard Savage's analysis of material from Eduardo Quiro's cave is one of the first topics, such as ritual use of animals in caves, but also hinted at the difficulties of interpreting animal remains from cave contexts. His analysis is still referenced by many scholars today. Excavations at the site of Cuello in northern Belize from the late 1970s up until the turn of the century resulted in the recovery of a large faunal assemblage. Subsequent publications by various authors such as Sylvia Scudder, Elizabeth Wing, and Juliet Clutton Brock indicated that animals were a crucial part of the ancient Maya diet and culture at Cuello, with evidence showing the use of dogs for food and ceremonial purposes, white-tailed deer as a primary meat source, and aquatic animals like turtles. Deer were hunted and aquatic species were likely acquired from local wetland areas. So these early publications on Cuello were really something that sort of set the bar for many of us in our research. In the 1990s, excavations at Kahopech and its peripheral settlements, as well as Pakbitun, indicated a rich pre-classic occupation. Thousands of faunal remains were recovered, resulting in new understandings of pre-classic animal use. At Kahopech, deer and peccary were important food sources for the Maya, supporting daily sustenance. One of the interesting things from Kahopech as well, from the small group of Tuluk on its periphery at the base of a sholtoon, was what we identified as a midden, with lots of marine fish being imported during the Middle Preclassic. So that told us a lot about trade as well as subsistence. The other thing about the research at Cahopecha and Pakbitun during the pre-classic is the myriad of freshwater shells being found, which I now refer to as a pre-classic freshwater shell triad. These include the Hute snail, the Nephroneus river clams, and apple snails, which are found in abundance in middle to late pre-classic deposits at many sites. The use of freshwater river snail Hute was reported on in a seminal paper by Paul Healy, Kitty Emery, and Laurie Wright. Hundreds of thousands of these freshwater shells have been found in pre-classic deposits at Pakbitun, as well as other sites in the Belize Valley area, such as Lower Dover, sites in northern Belize, such as Blue Creek, Kakabish. It just seems to be a real sort of staple in late pre-classic deposits that you will find a number of these freshwater shells. And whether or not they were all used as food sources is actually still debated. 3 decades of research at Pakbitun has also contributed to our understanding of Maya shell economies, as well as the general use of animals for subsistence and ceremonial and ritual use. Thousands of marine shell beads made primarily from Caribbean species like conch and whelk have been recovered at several inland sites, including Pakbitun, Cahopech, Kakabish, and Blue Creek in northern Belize, and research by Bobby Holman and others has showed that trade and exchange of marine shells was being conducted during the Middle and Pre-Classic, and shell beads were likely being exported through other sites. Another important aspect of animal use was their inclusion in feasts by the Maya elite and royalty. Feasts are used to form alliances to celebrate important calendrical and celestial events, and as tribute. Some of the signatures of feasting include large quantities of faunal remains in deposits, the presence of rare, exotic, labor-intensive taxa, body portion representation, such as meat-bearing body portions, the presence of serving vessels along with faunal remains, the presence of prestige items, musical instruments, as well as the location of these deposits, often associated with special locations. Evidence of feasting has been found at a number of sites in Belize, quail being one of them, where dogs were bred and killed at around 1 year of age, often fed a high maize diet to fatten them up for consumption, likely as part of a feast. The Maya at quail held communal meals with maize, deer, and plants, emphasizing ritual significance and cultural tradition. Other sites that have been reported on with feasting include Kashob in northern Belize, where Marilyn Masson has discussed feasting at the site, Pooks Hill, Minanha, Buena Vista, Altunha, and Lamanai. At Lamanai, excavations of what we call the giant midden in front of the Jaguar Temple by the Royal Ontario Museum and the Lamanai Archaeological Project resulted in the recovery of greater than 27,000 faunal remains. The animal remains recovered include freshwater lagoon fish, crocodile, river turtle or hickory, curassow, armadillo, dog, puma, tapir, peccary, red brocket, and white-tailed deer, as well as paca and agouti bones and teeth. The diversity of species, in conjunction with the recovery of several serving vessels and musical instruments such as ceramic drums, suggests that this is not a simple midden or garbage dump. The presence of this deposit on top of a low-lying platform within a large public or semi-public terminal to post-classic ceremonial plaza is perhaps suggestive of feasting. An exciting and rapidly growing topic is animal management by the Maya. Using a combination of zooarchaeology and isotopic analysis, researchers in Belize are revealing exciting new evidence of how the Maya manage their animal resources. Maya animal management involved raising and trading animals, example dogs and turkeys, probably some others as well, for food, and acquiring others like deer and exotic birds for ceremonial purposes. They manage animals through captive rearing, hunting, and complex trade networks to acquire both local and non-local species, and these practices played a significant role in their economy and society. The Maya practiced sophisticated animal management, domesticating species like turkeys and dogs for food and ritual purposes, although dogs were already domesticated. They also managed wild resources, sustainably hunting and capturing animals such as deer and peccary. Iconography and archaeological evidence reveal the cultural significance of animals in Maya society, including their roles in mythology and economy. More than 50 decades of zooarchaeological research in Belize has added significantly to our knowledge of the interaction between the Maya and their animal resources through time. Traditional analysis has broadened our understanding of the number of species the Maya utilized for everyday dietary consumption. With the introduction of isotope analysis, researchers have identified how important management and trade of animal resources was for the Maya. Research by Aaron Kennedy Thornton, Carolyn Frywald, Ariane Boileau, and others at sites such as Lamanai, Kahopech, Nantinich, and others within the Belize River Valley is producing exciting results on Maya management and migration of animals such as deer, turkey, dog, and river turtles. Finally, zooarchaeologists identify faunal remains by comparing them to modern skeletal reference collections or using published illustrations. It's important to know the animals that are present within your region for your analysis, and many zooarchaeologists specialize in a particular region due to the number of species. So in Belize, there are over 145 mammal species, over 85 freshwater fish species, over 500 marine fish species, over 550 bird species, 120 reptile species, and greater than 35 amphibian species. So I wanted to just take this opportunity to end this, to present a case for the dire need of having an accessible animal reference collection in Belize. Many of us that have done research over the years do have our little private collections, but there is no sort of central place right now where people can readily access a faunal collection. This is an important topic for me, and one I'd like to explore more in the future to see if we could make something like this in Belize and have it accessible not just for foreign researchers, but Belizeans as well. Thank you very much.